Welcome back. Today, I'm gonna take y'all along with me. I'm taking my kids to the library to look around. It's a couple of books I think that my oldest son is looking for, and yeah, let's see what we can find at the library. So we do have some books that we need to return that my kids checked out. I actually don't have any books to return. The books that I got from the library were through the Libby app for my like the ebook. So I don't have anything to return today, but it is a couple of books that I'm looking for. So we'll see what the day brings. Other thing before I leave, because I'm in the living room, are y'all interested in a bookshelf tour? I'm always on the fence because I'm like, I don't know. Maybe not right now because I'm like, oh yeah, it's not that many. Then I'm like, would I watch my bookshelf tour? I don't know. Y'all let me know. I'm gonna give you a quick glimpse and you tell me. See, it's not like it's just busting out the seams. And these are the two that I have in my living room, like beside the TV. Let me know what y'all think. I do have books like in my office and stuff, but this is the majority of it. When I moved, I told you I brought like 20 or 30 books from my old place. So let me know if y'all interested or not. The weather is so nice today. I kid you not. It's a little breezy, but it's warm. So yeah, just got in the car, about to head to the library. Um, I don't have my tripod in here. Like I have one. What's that? Oil change. I have one, but it's broke. Like I have one for my rearview mirror, but it literally doesn't work. Like it arrived broke, and I was like, yeah, it arrived broken, and I was like, yeah, I'm gonna return it. I have not. But anyways, since I don't have anything to hold the phone, I could hold it, but like, nah. Anyways, see y'all when we get to the library. Okay, actually, I forgot I had this visor tripod, like phone holder. So don't have y'all on the rear view, so you can't get that like nice cat corner. It's way far out to the side, but hopefully it works. Headed to the library. Why's the arrow? A couple of things I want to talk about though that I want to see if the library has. I have a couple of books on my TBR that I wanted to see if the library has, and then a couple of new releases. This thing's shaking so bad. I don't know if I'm gonna keep this on here. We'll see. I do have them like on my Google Doc. I'm trying to see if I can remember them off the top of my head. I want to see if they have Filling Station. I want to see if they have what else? The fourth Harry Potter book, because that's the next one that me and my kid gonna read. These people be driving like they crazy. Anyways, the fourth Harry Potter book, which is what's the fourth one?
The Goblet of Fire.
The Goblet of Fire. What else? There's more. Like I have like 6 books that I'm hoping that the library has that's on my list. I don't have the Catcher in the Rye, but I think I'm supposed to read it in April or maybe March. I don't know, but I want to see if they had a Catcher in the Rye. Every time that I went before, they haven't had it. So we'll see. What else? What else? Dream Count. I want to see if they have that. There was another book. Like, I'm telling you, I have a list, but not with me. Oh, the Diary of Anne Frank. I want to see if they have that. And then there was a new release. Firstborn Girls by Bernice McFadden. I want to see if they have that. Which, I'm pretty sure I'm just going to buy that. But I want it now, and I'm not going to buy it now. I'm trying to be a responsible adult and actually budget and stick. So I have no problem making a budget. I'm working on sticking to a budget. I'm trying to hold myself accountable. Like the budget is there. I can't just willy nilly be like, you know what, let's ball out. So I do have books that I'm gonna like break up when I'm gonna get them, and I'm pretty sure I'm gonna buy Firstborn Girls by Bernice McFadden because I like her. I want to support her, and it's her memoir, so I'm interested in hearing about that. I'm not a firstborn girl. I'm the middle child, but you know, maybe to give me a better insight about my big sister. So we'll see. What else? What else? I'm trying to think. There was more books. I don't remember off the top of my head. This is why I put stuff in my notes because I won't remember. If I'm just going off the dome, and I used to have a good memory way back when. My memory used to be something to write home about, and now it's not. So I do have these in my notes. Yeah, I also want to see what they have in the front section because it's like it's getting closer to spring. I know they'll start having like the Friends of the Library book sales where some library sales are better than others. Mine is a little, the last one that I went to, it was is this the wrong way? Share. The last one that I went to, it was like 50 cents for a hardback, 25 cents for a paperback, or they had like you can get a bag for $10. But the one I'm close to now, it's like $2 for a paperback, a hardcover, $1 for a paperback. Like that's the regular sale when you go to the front of the library. So where is the deal? Yes, it's cheaper, but like, dang, how you gonna have me get used to 50 cents and then all of a sudden it's $2? I'm very well aware of how cheap that sounds, but that's how I'm feeling. Anyways, because they're gearing up for that, and they're doing like I'm assuming like a spring cleaning, they do have a lot of books up front that they have for sale. Again, I'm sticking to my budget. I got a few dollars in cash, so I'll see what they have up front. I cannot use my debit card today because that's what the budget says for me. So, anyways, we'll see what they have in the front. Thankfully, I got a couple dollars on me. And yeah, I'm really trying to think of other books that I wanted to see if they had. Oh, Good Dirt. I want to see if they have Good Dirt. I have the ebook, but if they had a physical copy, I'm probably going to just check that out too. There was a oh yeah, you know what? The other book that I want, I don't think it's out yet. I want to read Everything is Tuberculosis, but I feel like it hasn't been released yet. For some reason, I'm thinking it comes out like the 16th or the 18th of March. So I will ask if they're getting it in, and if not, they have like a request form. I'm gonna request it. What else? I'm actually really interested in Everything is Tuberculosis, and I got a like a book rec off of whose YouTube was I watching? Dante. Actually, I got two book recs. One from Dante and one from, I have to think about the second one. But the one that I got from Dante is, again, I put it in my notes. I don't remember. But he was talking about his 5 and 6 star reads. And one of them sounded real interesting. So I'm going to get that if they have it. And I'm saying the reason that this list is so long, I know it probably sounds outrageous, but the reason that it's so long is because my library literally never has like the books that I want them to have. So like while I go in there and I got a list of 15 things I want them to have, they might have to. Hey, yes, I can go to another library, but like I don't be want to drive 20 more minutes to be able to get them. Like they never have stuff. And so we recently moved. Our last library, they had it. Like every book that you wanted, they had. This one is like, look, don't be asking for too much. What you see is what you get. Okay, learn some gratitude. You want more, go to another library. And I'm like, dang, like I feel you, but come on, work with me. I don't want to go to another library. But I'm blessed to have a library to go to anyway, so Whatever they have, I'll get. Let's go.
I have this book right here, and also this one. I have Down the Wimpy Kids Getaway, and I have Captain Underpants Full Color. And I have this book. Also have The One and the Only Student, Lewis. And I have Down the Wimpy Kids Hard Luck.
So we actually purchased the Animorphs that was in the front to buy, and then Amari and the Night Brothers, we bought that one too. And then these are the ones that he checked out: Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire, A Rover's Story, The Emerald Atlas, and Tristan Strong. Okay. Actually, while you're there, can you pick up my stack? And then I'm going to have him model the ones that I got. So this is my stack. We have Don't Cry For Me by Daniel Black, along with Isaac Song by Daniel Black. We have Junie, which it seems interesting. I mean, I've heard a lot of great reviews about it. It was a recent release. And then these three that I purchased from the front: The Banned Bookshop by Maggie Banks, Opening Day by Jonathan Eade, which is the Jackie Robinson first season story, and then Darling Girl. So very interested to see. We got a good little haul today. Okay, so my kid already showed you what I got, but let me show you again and kind of go over it. So the first one that I picked up that I purchased in the front, so the hardcovers were $2. Yeah. So Opening Day by Jonathan Eade. He's the same biographer that did a King, A Life. So I enjoyed his style when he went over Dr. Martin Luther King's life. So I'm hoping that I find some things about Jackie Robinson that I didn't know. So I picked that up. That was $2. Then we got another $2 book, Darling Girl. I picked this up because it's supposed to be like a mature take on the Peter Pan story with Wendy. So I'm interested to hear about this. And as you can see, it was a book of the month pick 1 month. So I'm interested to see. I like fairy tale retellings, especially when it has like a twist to it. So I'm hoping that I like this. I really do. This was also $2 in the front. And I wonder, let me see when this, May 2022, that's when this was in the book of the month box. So interesting. And then the last one that I purchased from the front was, which clearly it needs to be clean, but The Banned Bookshop of Maggie Banks by Shauna Robinson. This was $1 up front. Honestly, I got it because it's a black girl on the front. I don't know what this book is about, but I scanned the back and it seems interesting. Let me read it. When Maggie Banks arrives in Belle River to run her best friend's struggling bookstore, she expects to sell bestsellers to her small town clientele. But running a bookstore in a town with a famously bookish history isn't easy. Belle River's Belle River's literary society insists on keeping the bookstore stuck in the past, and Maggie is banned from selling anything written this century. Oh my gosh. Can you imagine going to a bookstore where you can't read any, like you can't buy any book that was made in this century? Well, first of all, that would be interesting because it'll be a very unique bookstore, but still, like, people want to read other stuff. But anyways, so when a series of mishaps suddenly tip the bookstore toward ruin, Maggie would have to be creative to keep the shop afloat. And in Maggie's world, book rules are made to be broken. Okay, like, I'm interested. Very interested to read this. Let me see when this came out. Let's see. 2022 as well. To my parents, who always made me feel like I could go down any path I wanted. Y'all feel that way about us? Crickets. Do y'all feel that way about us? Do we make y'all feel like y'all can go down any path you want? It's the sweetest dedication. Okay, anyways. And then I checked out 3 books. Let me just say, every single book that I went in here with the intention of checking out, they didn't have it. Every single book. A book by Dr. Sarita Lyons didn't have that. They didn't have the Diary of Anne Frank. They didn't have what else? So many. Good Dirt. They didn't have Harlem Rhapsody. They didn't have Catcher in the Rye. They didn't have, what else was I looking for specifically? Dang, what else was I looking for? You see what I be saying about my memory? They didn't have any single book, but I did find Junie. Okay, I did find Junie, and I've only heard good things about this book. So I'm excited to read this. I'm gonna be honest, if I didn't see this in the library just now, and they actually had this like front and center with their new releases, if I didn't just see this in the library, I probably wouldn't be reading right now, because I don't know, it hasn't been like at the top of my list of stuff to read. But when I saw it, I was like, they have nothing else in here that I was trying to read. Let me see what this is about, because it has great reviews, you know. 16 years old and enslaved since she was born, Junie had spent her life on Bellarine Plantation in Alabama, cooking and cleaning alongside her family and tending to the white master's daughter, Violet. Let's see what this is all about. We will see. And then this leads me to another segue. I was able to get Don't Cry for Me and Isaac's Song by Daniel Black, both of which I read already. I read both of these. Actually, I read Don't Cry for Me last week, and I read Isaac's Song this week. And I've already posted my Instagram reviews on these. But here's the thing. I got them because I bought these on my Kindle, so I have the ebooks. I don't have the physical copies. And I also wanted to support because they only had one copy of each, period, in the store. So I'm like, I want my library to know, like, yeah, we like these, keep them coming. So if I do get books like that I've already read, especially recently, but I want, especially if it's a Black author, I'll be like, yeah, I'm gonna check these out. But yeah, that brings me to, I could just go ahead and do my quick little review. Like, this will be in my monthly wrap up, but I can do my review on these right now. So let's just get into that. Okay, let's start with the order that I read them in the order that they were written. We're going to start with Don't Cry for Me by Daniel Black. First of all, this book, if you don't know, this is a book, it's a series of letters written from a Black man to his son who was, I don't know, to his gay son, let me say that. Throughout his childhood, he kind of struggled and wrestled with his identity, his self-worth, and some other things, and you were able to see through the dad Jacob's stories what his impact was, how he felt about the whole thing, some kind of behind the scenes stuff, and you were able to it really captured a lot of his resentment and a lot of things he wasn't resentful for. He was like, a lot of things he wasn't resentful, he wasn't regretful, he wasn't really sorry for some things. It was more so like, let me explain to you why I did what I did. Let me explain to you where I came from. Let me explain to you where my mindset was originated. He was sorry about some things, but some things he was just like, look, it's more of an explanation. Like, I'm sure you got questions. So he's writing these letters to his son, Isaac, in hopes that Isaac will read them and kind of understand him more, and at least, at the bare minimum, understand that he tried. So that's the premise of this book. Very interesting. And let me just tell you what caught me right in the feels. Let me read you the dedication. Caught me right in the feels. To Ernest J. Gaines, who started the public healing of Black fathers and sons years ago. Like, I love that because he literally did. But anyways, a couple of things and a couple of my takeaways from this book. I liked it. I did. I liked how it really talked about when Black Southerners migrate, they leave their land. I feel like, okay, well, it talks about a lot. Let me back up. This book dives into generational family, black families. So like what the generation before you did, how they thought, what that meant to them, what land and ownership and pride meant to the people that came before you, and why. And to not take that for granted. Like, you might not agree with things. You might think like, yeah, I'm smarter than them because I'm educated. I have this, I have that. Be humble, because you don't know what that took. You don't know the sacrifice they took. And a lot of what they did is why you have the opportunities to do what you're doing today. So don't ever think that you're smarter than somebody because you went to college and got an educated degree, a professional, formal degree. It's a lot you don't know. And it's a lot you're disconnected with. And then people that move from the South, from the places that they grew up, to a northern place that they think is better, a lot of the problems are still the same. And at what cost? Like, when you think about, you thinking that you're making a better decision right now, but what implications are there further down the road? I thought that was something interesting to think about. I think about this often because I can kind of see micro versions of that in my life, leaving my home state and everything that I knew, my family and all that, to go to somewhere totally different. I see like small things. So when I think about it on a grand scale, it's really interesting to me. Another thing that this book made me think of is how in our memories, our memory is rarely perfect and is never objective. So like there's this intersection between how something made us feel and how we remember feeling and the events that actually took place and what that means. And we don't necessarily need a villain, we don't need a hero. We just need to be honest and tell the story how it's supposed to be told. That was interesting to me. Made me think about my mom and daddy. And then I wish low-key, I wish my daddy would write a bunch of letters and then I just like stumble upon them one day, because I have so many questions and he is such a closed off type person. Like, so it was cool to kind of get that kind of introspection. However, this is my one. Y'all, I'm holding this with my hand and my arm getting tired. This is my one qualm with the book. I only had one issue with the book, okay? And that was how eloquently Jacob's letters were. That's my only issue, and I couldn't shake it. Like, I felt like the letters, they had so much introspection. They were well read. They were like honest and raw and open. But the way they were written, like the language used and some of the metaphors used and some of the vocabulary used and like sentence structure even didn't fit the character that we were supposed to get from Jacob. Jacob is this country boy who is smart. He went to school up until like the 8th grade, I think, but he was smart then, but not formally educated. He made it clear that he like wasn't a reader because he couldn't really read that well. He made it clear that he didn't speak well, didn't write well. Like when he was talking like through dialect, he made it clear like he wasn't about that flowery language, you know? And then when I ran across words in his letters that was like, it just didn't seem believable, like something he would write. It seemed like the way that I reconciled it in my brain is I was thinking like, these are letters. It seemed like letters that Isaac would have written from Jacob's perspective. Like, it seems like what Isaac's character would have said if he was writing letters for Jacob. It doesn't seem like Jacob sat there and wrote it. And especially like, even they were described as like chicken scratch. And I'm like, I don't know, the language was kind of eloquent for who Jacob was supposed to be in the story. It was elevated to a place where I just felt like didn't really match. But other than that, I really, really enjoyed this book. It was super good. It made me think about a lot of stuff. It made me think about how we view our parents. Like, we were raised in a household. If you were raised in a household with both parents or, one parent, how you rarely view your parents in the same way. Whether one was there and one was not, or they both were there, you still have like a different relationship. And the way that your parents have a separate relationship from you, how you view that, made me think about like my own life. So I was like, yeah, that's interesting. Then of course it's filled with like themes of identity and struggle and like coming to terms with something, loss, owning up and being accountable for stuff. And then just like really thinking about how hard it is to really verbalize decades and decades of just like regression and decades of like oppressing how you feel, and to the point where you can't even verbally say the thing that you're thinking in your head. Like you physically can't say it. That's some next level, like it's deep seated, you know what I mean? So that was interesting. I enjoyed this. And then a week later I was like, I gotta read Isaac's song? Did he find his daddy letters? What did he think about it? And I thought this was going to be a response to Don't Cry For Me. So let's just jump into this. Okay, so Don't Cry For Me was good. I jumped into Isaac's song by Daniel Black. And this is written from Isaac's perspective. He starts seeing a therapist. So Isaac left where he was from and went to college, started seeing a therapist, and she suggested that he write letters. Well, not letters. I'm thinking about Don't Cry For Me. She suggested that he write, like, journal how he feels and tries to really verbalize a lot of the stuff that he has never said, he has never realized. Similar fashion that Jacob was reflecting, this book is very reflective. Very, very reflective. It goes into themes of self-worth, identity, obviously, him coming to terms with who he is and deciding for himself whether that's okay or not. Him realizing things that he didn't realize in the moment. You know, when you get older and you start reflecting back and thinking, at that moment, I took that as like hate. I took that as a personal attack. But looking back, I can see he meant the best in this one area. And this book does a good job at painting how, let me emphasize this. Trauma is not good. It's not good to experience trauma. It's not. I wish that we can learn a lot of those good lessons that we pick up as a result of being in trauma-filled situations from something positive. But sometimes, like, you just don't get a good situation. You don't get a good experience. And what do you do with that? You were put in this situation. You were like subjected to your parents, to feeling like you weren't loved, you weren't appreciated, you weren't wanted, you weren't accepted. And now what do you do? Because it's only, you have to live with this. Do you continue to live this life or do you do something else? What do you do? This book made me think about that. It also, low-key, I used to journal a lot. And I was like, you know what? Let me start journaling because I got some stuff to say. So that was good. It made me pick up my little journal and get the, so that was good. What else did this book make me think of? How so much stuff in our childhood follows us throughout our adulthood. It literally shapes how we talk, what we think about ourselves. It shapes how we build connections and relationships, what we value, and everything. Like, I just thought that was good. I mean, we know that, but like to see it out was pretty cool and interesting to see. And just like, life, like you get what you get. And if you could go back and change, I'm sure you change a million things, but like, now what? What do you do with that? What do you do when you have this information? Like, yeah, so that's what that was about. His book was good too, don't get me wrong. I don't know. I was trying to decide like which book I like more. I'm not sure. I can't pick because I'm really like, I feel like I like them equally, and that's not a cop-out. Or it might be a cop-out, but I feel like I like them equally for two totally different reasons. So, okay, so now that I have went over both of these books, like I said, I feel like I like them equally. I just don't know, like, one of them didn't greatly rise above the other one for me. I feel like I kind of viewed them as a unit. Probably because I read them so close together, but if I had to pick, I don't know, like, I'm not sure, because the only reason if I had to pick, I might go with Don't Cry For Me. But that's just if I'm forced to pick. If I absolutely had to, I'm going with Don't Cry For Me. But anyways, let's head home. We're going home. Y'all ready? Let's get safety first. And while we're going, let me just say, real quick. Hold on, let me get up out this spot. We're going on a trip in our favorite rocket ship. Our library is so tight, boy. Okay, had to let the little kids pass. Anyways. Alright, so lately, I kid you not. Y'all think it's tight getting in and out of this parking lot? Anyways, yeah, so I said that reading Isaac's song made me want to start journaling again, and I did. And I remembered just how much I liked it. Like, I really stopped just because, but I really do think journaling does help you just kind of get your thoughts out there, be open and real, because sometimes, and not all the time, but sometimes there are things where, and he even mentioned it in the book, where you have never said the words out loud. You feel it and you might know it, but you've never said it through your teeth, you know? So like being able to write that down, I feel like can still help you express and communicate that without having to say the words, because some things, man, it's hard to just like say out loud what he said, you know? So then it'll help you just be open and honest and raw about how you feel. It's a good outlet. It's a great tool that I had some friends that were in the therapy space, and they used journaling and writing as a tool to help their clients, and I could see why. So yeah, man. Then I used to work with the youth, not anymore, but I used to, and I would encourage them to write too, for good reason. Like, it's not for everybody, but I can't see how it would be hurtful, you know what I mean? So yeah, that's it. Just wanted to share that. Yeah, let me know if you've read both Don't Cry For Me and Isaac's Song. Which one is your favorite? They so close to me. Like I said, if I absolutely had to choose, I'll go with Don't Cry For Me, just because, like, even though I said it was hard for me to picture him saying some of the stuff that he said in the letter, again, I felt like it was more so Isaac writing from his dad's perspective. But what was said, I think, was important. Some of that, like, thinking back through how you view your ancestors, like how you view home and what home means to you, what home means to your mom and your daddy. Like, just so many things. What you value. What do you think it means to be a parent? Like, what you think it means? Like, you think you gotta like your kid? Think you gotta love them? Like, do you think you need to set them up for success? Do you think you need to do XYZ to get XYZ? Do you feel like you have to shape their identity? Like, what it made me, maybe because I'm a parent, and I pray to God that I'm not like traumatizing my kids right now. I really do. Am I traumatizing y'all? Y'all wouldn't say yeah if I was, would you? I pray to God I'm not traumatizing them. I really do try to like be mindful, but we're not perfect, and so I'm always thinking like, dang, one day they're gonna be sitting across from somebody telling them about how they were raised. Like, my mama said this to me, she did this to me, like my daddy, you know, he did this. Or somebody's gonna point out one of their traits, like in Isaac's song, one of the guys, I think he was dating him, was like, yeah, you know, you have this confidence and you get that from your daddy. And Isaac was like, no, I don't. So I'm thinking like, what, which then he didn't realize he did, but like, what traits would somebody recognize and my kids would be able to point back to, like, yeah, you know. Like, I think about with my kids, I pray that I'm not ruining them. I thought the same thing when I read Daniel Black, Perfect Peace. Then it's like you do, You think, and then Jacob, he thought he was doing what it meant to be a dad and raise a son, but you had the information that you had, it was incomplete, bro. Like, that's your son, you know what I mean? Like, and so I think about that. It made me think about myself as a child, looking at it from like my daddy writing this. He wouldn't have said half of that stuff that Jacob said, but it would have been like, yeah, we look at the world differently. Like, what it means to be a dad in my daddy eyes is very different than what it looks like to be a dad in my husband's eyes. You know, so I don't know. Then I think about like how he like the relationship that he had with Jacob's mom, who was Isaac's mom, Rachel. And then shout out to the biblical names. They had Rachel. All his books do. Rachel, Isaac, Jacob, Abraham, Esau. Who else? Enoch. They had everybody up in there. But anyways, I think about the relationship that Jacob and Rachel had. And again, like, like your kids see your marriage too. Yes, your relationship is y'all own, but like nothing operates in a silo. So I think about that, and it made me think about so many things, like me being a mom, me being a wife, but also me being a daughter, me being a sister, me being, you know, like a child of God. Like, how am I representing myself? Am I being hateful? Like, am I doing XYZ? So I enjoyed it. If I had to choose, I'm going with Don't Cry For Me, but I'm hoping nobody's like, you must choose right now, 5 seconds, right this second. But anyways, we're home. That's the end of the video. Thank y'all for taking a trip to the library with us, hearing me talk about books. See y'all on the next one.